Hello, and welcome to Heineken's Tech Insights, your podcast from Heineken Krakow. Throughout this podcast, we'll be sharing insights and learnings from some of Heineken's top specialists who are shaping the digital future of Heineken. Join us to meet our experts, gain valuable knowledge, and see how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. I'm Mateusz Komander, your host, and I'm excited to introduce our next series, AI and the Future of Work at Heineken Krakow. Welcome to the final part of our AI mini-series. Training is easy, culture is hard. Today we'll hear what happens when hundreds of colleagues get hands-on experience with AI and how that shifts mindset across Heineken. Back with us is Grzegorz, who has trained actually exactly how many of our colleagues with Heineken you already trained?
Good question. I think that it is over 200 in those, let's say, regular training sessions that we hold in our Krakow office, not mentioning any training delivered outside, let's say, in Amsterdam and so on. So let's say 200, but it's worth mentioning that I'm not the only person. A few of my colleagues under learning and development providing those trainings. So I'm wondering what is the total number right now. Maybe it's over 1,000. Who knows?
Yeah, but you yourself have quite a hefty experience, and of course, happy to see you and happy to have you back.
Yeah, good to be here again.
Okay, Grzegorz, so maybe based on that experience that you have on those workshops and the training session, if you could share with us what really surprised you about the way people approach AI if they meet that for the first time.
A few surprises, in fact. First surprise is that sometimes it's quite new for people, because I think that people we could divide in, let's say, two buckets, because almost all heard about AI, GPT, and so on. But first bucket, people that maybe used once or twice in the past, okay, nice toy, but nothing, too surprising, too effective, put it on the shelf. And the second group of people that started really using and get inspired by this technology. So this one surprise is that still these days we have people that this is quite new for them. And another surprise when people start using this technology is maybe too much hype, too much trust in this technology, that suddenly this tool can do everything for us and it cannot, plus different hallucinations and so on. So, two spectrums.
Yeah, I think sometimes when people start using this, they are expecting specific results, and they sometimes, on one hand, maybe don't really know how to get those results, and then they are not that really into that tool because it doesn't give me what I expect to.
Exactly.
And some people are, and like you mentioned, maybe some people are just still looking on it as something that just taking traction, so it's still nothing to look on actively yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Then now looking into that past that first encounter. Yeah. So as you mentioned, there are people who are expecting too much or may expect too much from the AI. So there are many myths around that AI. So from those sessions that you run with with those people, how do you see those misconceptions disappear? Or so, for example, what are the reactions of the people at the end if they had wrong view of or let's say wrong perception over AI?
So first thing is to understand, at least on a general basic, no need to go in technical nitty-gritty details for those people, but in general understand what is the logic behind AI, how it is trained, on what data set it is trained, what are the hallucinations, and so on. So this is like this one aspect that people, when they learn, they feel more confident because they understand, okay, I cannot trust. And the second aspect already mentioned is hallucination. So I ask people this question that provoke to thinking that imagine that you are going to a doctor or you are going to a lawyer, and you ask for diagnosis, you ask for legal advice, and you got it. How do you know they do not hallucinate? And
interesting.
It provokes people
question.
to start thinking, and similar to human consultants and so on, or you go to another consultant and verify, or you ask any fact checking and so on. So with simple analogy, I believe you can already find a big scope of verifying the results of the models.
Yeah, I think the importance of the models and the hallucination around that may be that, let's say, similar to human, if the AI is prompted with too many wrong ideas or wrong inputs, it will give you the wrong answer, in essence.
Yeah, absolutely. So another interesting conversation that is happening these days is if prompt engineering really still makes sense. I mean, is it important, the way you communicate with the models? And my personal opinion, my experience, yes, still these days it's crucial, because the way you communicate, the way you prompt, and so the way you build context, and we these days know that we can build context not only with text but provide wide range of different kind of data is important.
Exactly. So in that area, again, we are touching the topic of the quality of the prompt. I think maybe a little bit about, let's head back to the previous podcast. We were discussing about the roles at some point. I think I recall that in the early days, of AI, I think there was I read few of the articles about like prompt engineer to the companies. That will be the new role searched for that. And I think within a year or even less, it appeared that now everyone actually can write prompts. They just need to have general training and learn how to do it.
Exactly.
So like this is not a like a knowledge that is hidden somewhere from you.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not that difficult. And on the top of that, like one trick that all of us can use, if we write a prompt, we can ask the model to perfect this prompt for us, and then we can generate. So there are different tips and tricks that even without knowledge, we can use the model itself to iteratively improve our way of communicating with them. So for all people listening, using GPT, Copilot, and so on, go and ask this question that based on our all history, what one thing I need to improve to communicate with you better? And sometimes we can get really insightful suggestions. So
exactly, I think that's what you actually touching very nice topic, to ask actually AI what he's expecting from us to give. So like even if you start, I would like to know that what information you need from me so that I could have the best results, and he will actually prompt you which questions you need to ask so that he could provide you the best answer possible.
Exactly. But this technology is being developed so rapidly that very soon it could understand us better than we understand ourselves. So you give a vague prompt to the model and it knows that you operate in this context or you have forgotten this aspect, and it can ask you some extra questions. And we already experienced this. The technology can know us, our behaviors way better than ourselves, because find me a person that didn't get stuck for 10, 15, 20 minutes scrolling an application and so on, being glued to the screen of the mobile phone, and lose this awareness just to find out in a second that, what I'm doing, I need to go there or here and so on. It might be that prompt engineering would be less important in the upcoming days. We will see.
Exactly. And then looking into the roles, again, circling back to our previous podcast, you've mentioned that sometimes there are some red flags and people may take a look into that they are scared over the AI could actually somehow have a huge impact on their jobs and stuff like that. So seeing that impact, and maybe during the trainings you had that situation that people got scary about the AI. Is there any way that you could recommend how to help someone understand what the AI means for that role or for him specifically, and what kind of conversation or tool that person can maybe use to, with the exception again of those 4 flags that you already mentioned, to check a tool like how he can be impacted and how he can support himself while being impacted by the AI. Do you have any recommendations around that?
I think I have, and maybe they will be not that revolutionary, but I think that they are practical. So first of all, I would stop debate with myself if it's happening or not, because it seems to be happening. And even if it does not happen, you will not lose knowing more about technology. So I would even securely assume it is happening, it will happen, it will impact the way I work and so on. I need to upskill. And as a consequence, I would start exploring AI space, especially within my context. First of all, as mentioned during one of the podcasts, start using this tool, trying to do stuff, automate stuff with the tool available. And on the top of that, I would start exploring this space relevant to my context, to my role and so on, because I bet that there are already people that are heavily exploring this space, trying to use different tools to optimize work, make it more effective. So following those 4 flag mentions, it would be a great indicator, not only if it's coming, but as well how I can become more innovative, more useful in my current job position.
And specifically speaking, first join the training session about the AI within Heineken internally so that you could catch up what we already know.
Yeah, absolutely. And the new sophisticated trainings coming. So
okay, yeah. Counting on that. I would be happy to explore some of my own, let's say, topics that I've worked with my teams. Definitely will reach out to you. Okay, so, but now getting back into the topic about the people and the trainings and developing our skills, getting the skills upskilled within the skill sets of AI and how to use this. What do you think, what kind of habit can they adopt, maybe looking into the AI in general, what kind of habit they can adopt to start using the AI like tomorrow? Any micro experiment you would like to recommend to someone?
Yeah. So again, following this advice, start simply using it for different things. But sometimes it might be difficult for you because you might be stuck in your, old ways of
bubble, something like that.
Exactly,
yeah.
Working old habits die hard. So what is already proven and works quite effectively, that if you have a group of people in your organization, maybe a team, maybe colleagues on the same position, catch up maybe on bi-weekly basis, whatever, exchange the thoughts, exchange your experiments, what was successful, what was not successful, and what is already, again, empirically tested, because we did it with group of Scrum Master, analysts, and so on, that when you are exploring different possibilities of implementing this technology, it's very important to build this library not only of successful scenarios, because they can be easily reused by any other individuals, but as well, it is very important to collect all those scenarios where technology was not successful. And this is important because when the new release of the tool appears, already it was shown that 1, maybe 2 scenarios suddenly become possible. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel, try to figure out again all those different things. You just go through the list of scenarios, and usually is, for every one successful scenario, a few are unsuccessful. So you have a knowledge base of those scenarios, and it could be really, really effective.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe one topic that maybe we can also take a look, or maybe you think that this is something people could also start using, is if they have access to the Copilot within and the possibility to create specific agents. Yeah. Just learn maybe to create an agent who can have very similar knowledge or approach to yourself and give you specific answers based on what you are feeding. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I can imagine, for example, for equivalent for a Scrum Master, let's say we can prompt someone as a conflict resolution model, and let's prompt that. Okay, so there are this many of conflict resolution. This is how you recognize them. This is what we are expecting, and now just provide the context within my team, I have that example of discussion. How do you assess that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the prompt model can tell you, okay, so this discussion suggests that there is a passive-aggressive approach, that the people are on that part of or on that level of conflict, and maybe to mitigate that, take those 3 steps to help those people. Yeah. So you can start actually looking into the agents that actually will be behaving, will be solving issues only based on context that you will give them.
Yeah, you have a very valid point, and I think that the default question in our head these days should be how I can do it with AI or with support of AI. How can I make it a little bit maybe more effective? And naturally then scenarios would appear in our head because even when you have such simple functionality like gathering transcript, you can ask the model to analyze your parts of those transcripts and suggest you like this 1 or 2 changes to improve your communicational skills or even your English. And it's as simple as that. And sometimes you are not even aware that you are not using some phrases, tenses accurately. Suddenly it gives you like minor thing, but it's creative application of the solution.
Exactly. So what you mentioned about the learning body, the learning group, yeah, even us, both of us discussing, I think you are even. I thought I have such a many applications, but even now you are giving me actually new application for AI and actually transcript, like ask where I'm lacking in terms of communication and providing information to others, and how should I improve my language. That's a cool example and out-of-the-box example that you can already use, having the transcript and having the AI access.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are very simple yet pragmatic examples, and we can build upon that to more sophisticated, more complex adoption of this technology, just to find out one day that we have quite easily built an assistant that is trained to be our team assistant or our personal assistant, and a lot of the things that we were arranging by ourselves at the beginning of the week, during the week, after the meetings and so on, could be optimized or fully automated with AI. And the surprising thing is that with the passing of time, it seems that we would need less and less technical skills to connect the different blocks together to make it happen. So
yeah, I think you also touched that about when you were asking about agents. So again, let's do a step back and a summary over the podcast, because actually now to create a working agent, so working flow throughout the that is using or leveraging the AI, at the moment in most cases or many cases you no longer really need a coding per se or like development skills per se, because you are not writing a code, you are not deploying anything. Most of those are, from my experience at least, it's quite often drag and drop option. Just look into the options. Okay, you should look through this, and this is the prompt I would like you to go through when going through those materials.
Yeah.
So actually, it's like you said, it's quite easy, or it starts to be much easier to do those, to build those prompts, to build those agents itself.
Yeah, and summarizing this whole, let's say, hype, let's say, or those podcasts, I believe that these 3 aspects that I believe we already mentioned in one of those podcasts is important to at least understand and to follow. That phase 1, the phase that we are currently in HEINEKEN and so on, at least what I observe is that, let's leverage this assistant as much as we can. Let's make them useful and so on. Phase 2, that's probably will happen soon. We will be building different kind of assistants / agents. It's not the same, that we will be asking to do some stuff for us, and we will be filling the gaps. We will be working with the assistant agents and the team together. And the phase 3 that might happen in few years, who knows, would be orchestrating, organizing those different agents working for us, and we would be like kind of managers or reviewers of their work, adjusting things that needs to be improved. And it might be the future, but how it will look like,
exactly,
who knows.
Okay, Grzegorz, thank you for the great summary. It was great fun having you here and having
My
those
pleasure.
discussions.
My pleasure. And maybe in the near future we will sit together and we'll be astonished how the technology develops. So let's see.
I hope that what we saw in the future will actually be the minimum valuable product, let's say.
Or maybe already our avatars would be talking to each other and we will be drinking coffee. Next
exactly. So, thank you one more time for being here and for joining us here. It was a pleasure, and hopefully see you somewhere in Heineken Krakow.
Naturally, my pleasure too. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that brings our 3-part mini-series of AI and the future work at Heineken to a close. Over these episodes, we've tracked the pace of innovation, we imagined the teams of tomorrow, and we moved a little bit from classroom to culture, learning how hands-on training, clear frameworks, and daily habits. The common thread is the people and adaptability. Whether you're experimenting with the new tool, redesigning a squad, or mapping AI's impact on your role, progress starts with curiosity, collaborative teams, and individuals, like the ones we are building here in Heineken Krakow. If today's conversation inspired you, take one small step this week and run a 5-minute prompt experiment, share a success story with your squad, or sign up for an AI learning path. Thanks to Grzegorz for guiding us. Keep exploring, keep learning, because what happens in Krakow goes around the world. Cheers! To stay connected, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and follow Heineken Global Shared Services on LinkedIn. And remember, here at Heineken, we are always looking for rising stars who are ready to make an impact. If you are interested in joining us, you can explore our open positions at heinekenkrakow.pl. We'll be back with more insights from Heineken's agile and digital transformation journey, showing how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. Join us next time to keep learning, growing, and adapting.